And so at-tadyiq, yeah, even Laylat al-Qadr, they say one of the meanings of Laylat al-Qadr is that it's really tight on that day. What does it mean? Because تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالْرُوحُ, the angels come out. There's so many angels on that day, more than any other day, that there's no place to move. Yani it's so full. And that's one of the meaning of, and this is the understanding of Ibn Umar, and he's the narrator of the hadith. And we know how strict Ibn Umar is when it comes to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. He's one of the strictest sahabis, and his father followed the opinion, and Amr ibn al-As and other sahaba yani, follow that opinion. Wallahu a'lam. But I think now with calculations, we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, just because like Libya, like when we say qadr, that means just estimate.
Yeah, that's one of the meanings.
So that's why,
Yeah.
why we went to the other one.
قدر يقدر. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's one of the meanings for qadr. Yeah. That's one of the meanings. بس يعني Ibn Umar understood it as يعني ضيق فضيقوا له. Okay, and that's one of the meanings in the ayah, or that's the meaning in the ayah. ويقدر إن الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر له له يعني Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might take rizq from someone for his sake. Yeah, for his sake. طيب. نعم. So, and when we say adl, one person upright means does not commit major sins and does not insist on minor ones, right? We talked about al-adala, right? And so if someone is known to be like a fasiq, liar, and he says, I saw the moon, we probably shouldn't believe him. Tamam? The Hanabila, they believe that if one person sees it, it's enough. Because there's the mas'ala of Egypt saw it, Saudi didn't see it. Libya saw it, UAE didn't see it. The Hanabila, they see that the first one to see it, خلاص. يعني someone is adl, trustworthy, then we trust them. That's it. يعني everybody can trust that person, right? And it makes sense يعني, for the sake of unity, etc. And it's not like there's going to be different hilals. It's just that some people might not see it because of ghuyum, right? And so if the first one to see it saw it, then there's a hilal. يعني it's not like there's different moons, it's the same moon. تمام? But it makes sense. And I think the opinion makes sense. And so, مثلا, Mecca see it before us. And that's why it makes sense for us to just follow them. Mecca see it before us. And hopefully we can trust the ulama there. تمام? So then and it's on them. If they make a mistake, it's on them. يعني if they make a mistake, it's not on us. يعني. And طبعا, their day is before us. We're way a few hours late. So usually we find out about the hilal when? Like 12 o'clock here, something like that, right? 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, people start sending the messages. Oh yeah, Mecca, the people in the Haram saw the moon in Saudi. طيب. Jamil. Anything here? نعم. Yeah, by the way, sorry, one more thing. The person who sees it has to be mukallaf. The person who sees it has to be mukallaf. Okay? So if one of those young guys back there goes sees the moon, okay, we're not going to call him a liar, but we can't take we can't take their opinion because they're not mukallaf. طيب, that's the shart for the ru'ya. نعم.
Sometimes like Saudi Arabia announce Ramadan and Iraq doesn't announce it, Egypt doesn't announce it. So what do you think like if every country
did their own?
Yeah, is this okay?
If every country has a committee?
Yeah.
طبعا الأصل في خلافة they have one رأي and everybody follows that. Like now, because there's no khilaf and everybody has their own government and society and whatever, there's going to be اختلاف يعني. And so, but it makes sense. I think it makes sense that you follow. I think it makes sense to follow يعني, especially for us here. I think it makes sense to follow the people of يعني, Saudi Arabia. I think so. Not because Saudi Arabia or anything like that, but because يعني, they would be the most what's the word? يعني الأحوط والأحوج, I think, or the most careful with the calculations, and they spent a lot of money on it. يعني they have some really expensive equipment. If you go see the equipment that they use, and they have a bunch of them. يعني they go camp there for يعني, and they have their equipment. If you ever see how they do it, and it's يعني they take it upon them as a responsibility because they're يعني they're the ones that خادمين الحرمين يعني, and so it makes sense يعني, and people see them as a يعني as a symbol of Islam because al-Haramain are there. So I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. If there was someone more qualified and had better equipment, etc., maybe we would follow them. It's not like a religious verdict that Mecca has to be followed. But I think it's probably logically makes sense that we follow them.
Right, but we as local Muslim community, there should be like,
Should someone go to Cochrane and check it, يعني?
yeah, one announcement for everybody. So
Yeah, there should be, and that's what we try to do. إحنا we will contact the major organizations here, and we'll agree on the day. And that's why usually here in Calgary we used to, يعني now alhamdulillah recently in the last maybe a decade or so, it's always been on the same day for Ahl Sunnah. But I don't know about Ismailis or the other ones if they do it differently, the Shia, etc. But for the Ahl Sunnah here, the main organizations, we do it together, and usually we'll follow Makkah, alhamdulillah. So we have some ijma' here with that, and that makes sense. And I think it's more unifying for the Muslims. Wallahu a'lam. طيب. Then he says, okay, yeah, this is the 30th day. During the 30th night of Sha'ban, if conditions obstruct the new moon from being sighted, then out of caution, one must fast the following day. This is what the Hanabila see, okay? Obstruction means cloudy, mountain blocking the view, someone who cannot see the sky, it's foggy, dusty, and so on. Tamam? This is out of caution of not missing an obligatory fast, because if it's covered and the hilal was there and we didn't see it and we said we didn't see it, then it's not Ramadan. But it's actually Ramadan, then we missed what? We missed the day of fasting. It makes sense logically, and Ibn Umar applied it, so that's why they followed that ra'i. طيب. If the hilal is seen during the daytime, okay, this is a good question. On the 29th of Sha'ban, if it's seen during the daytime, then it's for the coming day. Yani, if you see it during the daytime, is it possible? It's possible. If you see the hilal during the daytime, then it's probably going to be seen at night. But you still have to look for it at night. Does that make sense? So if you see it at night, that's why he says here. Yeah, he says here, وَإِن رُؤْيَ نَهَارًا يعني the hilal if it's seen naharan فهو للمقبلة يعني for the next one. It is for the next one, for the next day. نعم, when is what? Before the Fajr time. I'm not exactly sure when is it possible to see the hilal. But as long as you can see it, يعني the day before, يعني before the next day, يعني the whole night, يعني the whole night would be considered when? From Maghrib time, okay, until Fajr, I guess, yeah. And, نعم? Normally, yeah, it should be seen after Maghrib. Normally, it should be seen after Maghrib. But يعني مثلا, I mean, if there's some ghuyum and then they pass by after 4 hours or something like that, like if there's...
It goes up and down quickly.
Mm.
It was not seen after Maghrib by 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
It will not be seen the whole night.
Oh, is that how it is?
Yeah.
So...
it goes up like sunlight, but it's
Mm.
short, right?
And that's why, يعني, yeah, those guys like in Mecca, they go out there and they sit for hours, like the whole time. And they wait, they keep waiting and they check it. So, and they have it recorded, etc. And so, يعني, it's pretty much يعني, guaranteed. Even if one of them if they all fell asleep, they will still have it recorded. Wallahu alam. So if the hilal is seen during the 29th of Sha'ban, then it belongs to the next night. Meaning, do not think you missed the first of Ramadan and that it started the previous night. Yeah, because someone might have shak. I saw it during the day. Oh, we must have missed it the night before. No, it's just sometimes it's possible that it shows up earlier. Yeah. طيب, جميل. Then he says, نعم وإن صار أهلا لوجوبه في أثنائه. طب, now we talked about who is responsible to fast. طب, what about if that someone who's not baligh becomes baligh in the middle of Ramadan, in the middle of the day, okay, right, etc. So they say here, وإن صار أهلا لوجوبه, يعني if he's someone that is obligated, okay, في أثنائه أو قدم مسافر مفطرا أو طهرت حائض أمسكوا وقضوا. This is interesting. In the Hanbali madhab, they say if someone, for example, someone became baligh in the middle of the day, it's a fasting day. طبعا they didn't fast maybe, okay, then they become baligh, okay, or a traveler, okay, is he has the right to break his fast, and then he's in his location, he landed or he got to his destination, okay, or a woman her cycle is cut, okay, and she showers and now she's purified, right? Then he says they make it up, okay, but they also have to withhold, imsak, right? They also have to do imsak because the reason for them for eating is gone. The reason for them for eating is gone. Yeah, the ha'id, the reason for her was the blood. It's gone now, right? And they say for the hurma of the month, out of respect for the month, they withhold the fasting. They finish the day of fasting, and then they make it up. And then they make up. This is mas'ala khilafiyya, yani, but that's how the Hanabila see it. And you notice that the Hanbali madhab, one of its things is they do a lot of ihtiyat. Yani if there's a chance to make a mistake, they try to avoid that. Or if there's a chance to miss out something, they try to avoid that. So he says during Ramadan, the people in the following cases must stop eating immediately for the rest of the day and make up the day plus any other days they missed. So if someone becomes from those who are required to fast, okay? So remember, we said the one who's not pubescent. So child reaches puberty. All of a sudden, middle of the day, he went to sleep, he had a wet dream. Khalas, now he's reached puberty. Or someone insane, he's majnoon, and now he's sane. He wakes up from his sanity, or from insanity, and he's sane, okay? Or the sick becomes healed. Someone had like some really bad disease, and Allah healed him in the middle of the day of Ramadan, okay? Or non-Muslim converts to Islam. We have a shahada, okay? What happens, okay? So they say these people have to withhold eating or drinking until Maghrib time, and they make up that day. They make up the day because they're responsible for the day. What about the musafir? Okay, he says the traveler becomes muqim. So when the traveler becomes muqim, he's traveling and now he's muqim. Muqim yani he's now settled in a place. The traveler is only allowed to break the fast in Ramadan while on road. And while he's on the road to travel to that place. And not when he reaches his or her destinations. Such a person should stop eating once he gets to his or her destination or returns back home and make up the missed days after Ramadan. So again, they say that he should withhold his fast and he should make up that day. And same thing with the woman on her monthly cycle. Okay, she becomes clean and she's now able to pray. Okay, she holds on. She doesn't eat or drink, but then she makes up the day. She makes up the day. طيب. Then he says, وَمَنْ أَفْطَرَ. Before that, actually, it says here, if someone fasted 30th of Ramadan without legal Shari evidence, this is just a side note. This person's fasting is not valid even if he turned out to be correct and he must make up the day. Remember we said that you have to fast لِرُؤْيَتِهِ. You have to fast لِرُؤْيَتِهِ. One of the comments, the mu'allif, he says that if someone fasted the 30th of Ramadan without legal evidence, remember the 30th is Yom al-Shak. The 30th is Yom al-Shak. It could be day of Ramadan, it could be the day of Sha'ban. We don't know, right? It's Yom al-Shak. But if someone fasted it, just guessing, yallah, I think it's okay, then they say that it wouldn't count for him, even though if he was correct and that was a day of Ramadan, okay? Yeah, no, because applying a ruling without ilm, okay, is a problem. Just like Nabi Sallam talked about Al-Qadi, the Qadi who, Al-Qudah Thalath. The Prophet said that the judges are three, one in Jannah and two in the hellfire. And one of those who go to hellfire, the one who judged between two people without knowledge, and he was right. Even someone asks for a fatwa, and you answer and you're right, but you did it out of ignorance, you don't have any knowledge aslan to answer, then you are sinful for that. You're unskillful for that. So that's why it's because of وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. It's a major sin to speak about the deen without having knowledge. Now he talks about the old age. What about the people who are old age or have a disease لا يرجى برؤه, يعني a disease that they don't expect to be healed. So he says وَمَنْ أَفْطَرَ لِكِبَرٍ أَوْ مَرَضٍ لَا يُرْجَى بُرْؤُهُ أَطْعَمَ لِكُلِّ يَوْمٍ مِسْكِينًا. Okay, and so if someone is required to fast, but could not do so because of old age or a permanent illness. The illness, طبعا, you need a doctor to tell you this is harmful for you to fast or it's not harmful for you to fast. تمام? They are allowed to break their fast, but must feed one poor person a day as compensation. Okay? So someone, مثلا, he cannot fast at all. Give me a disease that you cannot fast with. Give me a disease. What's a disease that you cannot fast with? Huh? Diabetes? Diabetes, some can, some can't. وحسب how type 1, type 2. Yeah, type 1 maybe probably couldn't. Type 2, some people can. And probably they'll heal from it because their insulin will be pretty low. But what other diseases other than diabetes? Huh? No? Anyways, المهم, as long as يعني there's a disease that prevents them from fasting, مثلا they have to take medicine every 3 hours. Okay? طيب, they have to. If they have to, يعني, خلاص, then you should break your fast. You have some crazy infection, and the doctor says you have to take antibiotics every 6 hours. طيب, the Sharia will tell you what? Probably wajib for you to take the medicine. Okay? And you have the reason to break that fast. But here he's talking about permanent illness. Because someone who's just one day, then that person makes it up. But here's someone who has permanent illness. Why permanent illness? Because the one who doesn't have a permanent illness like the antibiotics now, okay, that person will break his fast, but he can fast right after Ramadan. But the one who has permanent illness, permanent meaning he can never fast again. He cannot make it up aslan. So that's why he pays one day, he feeds one person for every day. So one meal a day from the normal meals of your day. What's a normal meal nowadays? $10, $12. So you would feed that much. If there's an excuse, then such a person can wait until the end of the month. So do I feed them every day? Every day? Or can you wait till the end? If there's a mashaqqa in doing it every day, one by one, then you can feed all of them. Or you can feed all of them in the beginning. Some people, مثلا, they will do an iftar for the masjid. There's at least a couple hundred people there, 200 people. And then that will count as what? As their it'am for the whole month. You can do it in advance. And the extra, خلاص, is sadaqah for you. There's no problem, يعني. It's not like it's haram to do extra. Okay? It should be fine, yeah. Because you're going to give money for the people, يعني, and to tawakkal someone else. Yeah, you're getting someone to get the food, but you're actually feeding at the end of the day. Yeah, you don't have to go and like feed every person hand by hand. You don't have to do that. نعم. If you do in advance, then it's fine. Yeah. طيب. And it's not allowed to someone to fast on their behalf. Yani your grandfather, he has a terminal illness or he can't fast. Okay. Then you cannot fast for him. Okay. You cannot fast for him. He has to pay the kaffara. But what if someone cannot afford the kaffara? What happens? He doesn't pay it. خلاص. Someone can't afford the kaffara, he doesn't pay it. طيب. طيب جميل. Next he says وسنة الفطر لمريض يشق عليه ومسافر يقصر وإن أفطرت حامل أو مرضع خوفا على أنفسهما قضتا فقط. We're going to start talking about now, I think it's the next mas'ala. Yeah, the pregnant and the breastfeeding. But let's talk about this mas'ala. It is recommended for the following to break the fast in Ramadan and make it up later. This is for the people who it's recommended to break the fast. If someone is sick and finds it difficult in fasting, it is a slight for him to fast. We talked about the person, مثلا, he's sick, he has flu, headaches, okay, it's painful for him, it's mashaqqa, it is a mashaqqa, then he has a rukhsa, okay, to break his fast. It's recommended for him to break his fast. A traveler who's traveling enough distance which will allow him to shorten the prayer. We talked about shortening the prayer. You go into a long masafa, you're going to, Edmonton, then you're allowed to break your fast as you're traveling, okay? Now let's talk about the pregnant and the breastfeeding woman. Jamil. So, we have the woman who's pregnant, baby in her womb, and then we have the woman who had the baby and she breastfeeds him, okay? Tamam. He says here, okay, then if the woman, okay, if the pregnant woman or the breastfeeding woman, there's two masail here. If she fears, if she breaks her fast because of herself, that's one case. But if she breaks her fast because of fear for the child, that's another case. Tamam? So either she breaks her fast because of herself, or she breaks her fast because of her child, whether the one is in her stomach or the one who's in her hand, she's breastfeeding. Tamam? So it says here, if a pregnant woman or a breastfeeding woman are not able to fast in Ramadan and fear harm fall under one of these two categories. So number one, she fears for herself only. خايفة على نفسها يعني. Okay? Meaning she fears she will be harmed if she continues fasting. So either she might harm herself, the pregnant woman, okay, she might harm herself because what's happening, the child is taking nutrients from her. And so if she's going to fast, she might harm herself. This goes back to herself and the doctor, okay? So if she fears being harmed, okay, in this case, she can break her fast and is only required to make up the fast the day later on. Tamam? And so she will make that day later on. The second case, if she fears for the baby only, yani if I don't eat, he will not have enough milk. Or if I don't eat, he will not get enough nutrients in the stomach. Tamam? She fears for the baby. This goes back to the niyyah and maybe which stage in her pregnancy and maybe her other conditions that she has. Okay? So meaning she fears the baby will be harmed if she continues fasting. In this case, she can break her fast, but she must make up the days. Plus, the one financially responsible for the baby must feed one poor person for each day she misses. يعني المسؤول, يعني the husband or whoever is responsible for that child, okay, must pay for each day. And she has to make up one day because obviously she's going to break her fast. But she broke it because of him, so then there's a kafara for that child. Now,
I think there is another step before she goes this way because there is other like substitutes or other alternatives like to feed the baby, right? So if there is something in the market and she can feed the baby.
if there's other ways around it, ما في مشكلة. Right? As long as she doesn't fear harm. يعني if there's other ways to do it, okay. It depends where you live, how long the fast is. يعني احنا when we were breaking fast in July, those are long days. يعني the 10 o'clock Maghrib, 10 o'clock, something like that, right? Those are long days for the fast. But when we get to like December, you know, and she's breaking her fast at 4:30, يعني, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. But if there's some other things that help, okay, I don't know, she eats a lot of fats and protein the day before, right? And she can fast, and the doctor says there's no harm.
Like in the market, you can get some baby food and other stuff.
Yes, okay, yeah, but some, يعني, it's her right to breastfeed her child. يعني حقها to breastfeed her children, right? And some people, يعني, they see that as it's a healthier option for the child, and it's a healthier option for the mother too, right? يعني there's, يعني مهم. There's studies that show يعني, that it can actually be a health benefit for the woman to breastfeed as well. Yeah, ما في بأس. المهم, but this is the قاعدة. It's good to know the قاعدة. If she fears for herself, that's one thing, and if she fears for her child, okay. So think about it this way: if she fears for the child, there's two things to do, okay. But she's not the one responsible to pay for that each day. It's the husband or the one responsible for the child. Now, okay, and then it says وَمَنْ أُغْمِيَ عَلَيْهِ. Okay, now we're going to talk about the person who faints, or the person who goes crazy. طيب. Now we have someone who faints half a day or part of a day, and then someone who faints the whole day, and someone مثلا who goes crazy for half the day or for the full day, and then we have also the one who sleeps throughout the whole day. Let's talk about these three people. طيب. So the one who faints, okay, is he mukallaf? He's still mukallaf. The one who faints. Someone just faints. I don't know. He didn't eat enough, or it's too hot. Okay, or I don't know. Whatever. He finds out some sad news and he faints. Okay, if he faints for some of the day and nothing he did there to break his fast. Okay, yeah, and he didn't faint and they just started feeding him or something somehow. Okay, through like even through needles and stuff. Then he can, when he wakes up and he can complete the day. ما في مشكلة. Okay, this is the one who faints. Okay, but if he faints the whole day, then he has to make up the fast. طيب, the one who goes crazy, okay, the one who goes crazy, أصلا does he have to make up the day, or does his fast count? What do you think? He's not mukallaf. أحسنت. We go back to the first rule. He's not mukallaf أصلا. Okay, he was not responsible or required to fast that day because he was majnoon. Okay, so for him it's not a big deal. طيب, what about the one who sleeps? بيتسحر. Okay, he has suhoor. And he's gone all the way till Maghrib. Okay? Subhanallah, he wakes up at the adhan. Does his fast count?
It counts.
The fast counts. Lakin yu'tham for his prayers. Yani if he did it intentionally. Not if he's someone, because we have to be careful here. The qalam is marfu' for the one who misses out of sleep. Okay? But if he was up wasting time and watching movies, and then he slept through the day, then who's responsible? He is. But if مثلا he got sick or something happened, or مش عارف, someone put drugs in his food, in his suhoor, and he slept through it, then he's نعم? Yeah, if you work night shift. We forgot the good one, the good excuse. So if he works night shift, yeah, most people will not sleep through the day. I'm just saying it. But if he sleeps throughout the day, his fast is fine. But يعني, has anyone done it here before? If you're too embarrassed, you've done it before? Slept from Fajr till Ya salam. How many hours is that? طبعا in the winter, sorry, in the summer, يعني it's 18 hours. So you slept 18 hours? Okay. I was going to say. Okay. Naam, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, some people can, especially because the day sleep is not as good as the night sleep. So someone who sleeps 7 at night, in the day you need like 10, 12. نعم. يعني هذا يكون معذور. يعني better for him to take those days off. بس نعم.
If somebody would like to feed like poor people with substitute fasting, you have to like this option here in the masjid.
Here, in this masjid here?
To be directed to poor or something.
To be directed where?
Like to poor people.
قصدك يعني هون المسجد. So back in the day, we used to have like iftars like every day or every weekend, etc. Nowadays, we don't really do them as much. Other organizations can do that. يعني IDRF and other organizations, they will take money and they can feed for you. There's a lot of organizations that will do it for you. You give them the money and they will feed people in the month of Ramadan for you. يعني it's not that hard. يعني, and I'm sure you have relatives who can do that overseas, etc. And there's always need. يعني. نعم? Helping Hands, yeah, we do that. So we have the program of Helping Hands.
I think that they do provide groceries and
But will it count as إطعام 30 مسكين? Will it count as feeding 30 people? That's the mas'ala here, because Helping Hands, does it like feed, is it food only or is it other things? Is it like a meal? Like a meal? Because I'm not sure exactly what goes out. Ammar? Jamil. But we do it Tuesday and...
no, so that's different. So because anybody comes and says, okay, this is for kafara. So that's separate. We will treat this separately and we will give them.
Jamil. And we will have the option very soon, right? You'll be able to go on our website and you'll be able to choose donation kafara, and you'll be able to do it like that. And I think you can choose the days, right? How many days? Yeah, inshallah. So that option will be available in Allah very soon.
You can select the amount, let's say $15 per day.
Yeah. So if you decide $10 a day, you'll be $300 for 30 days, kafara, and خلاص. يعني بدأت من الذمة إن شاء الله. طيب. Cool. جميل. Yeah, we talked about the insane person. The insane person أصلا he's not مكلف. The insane person he's not مكلف. طيب. The intention. The question of niyyah. Do I have to make a niyyah every night? ما رأيكم? Huh? So no. This is like the Malikis over here, like the North Africans over here. طيب. شوف. Sometimes the discussions of niyyah, it's just a khilaf in kind of understanding what each one is saying. Okay, and so before you go to sleep on Ramadan, what's your niyyah to do in the morning? To get up for suhoor. But that's a niyyah for siyam. So technically, every one of you is doing niyyah every night. Yani, it's not like you're saying before you sleep, you're saying I'm making intention to fast on the 22nd of this day. You're not doing that. But the fact that you have a niyyah to get up for suhoor, what does that mean? Technically, everybody does it. Unconsciously, you do it. Tamam? Okay? But it is required. طيب. This is for the fard siyam in Ramadan. And this is for the fard siyam outside of Ramadan that you're making up. Okay? But what about the nawafil? Nafil, siyam nafil. Yeah? Do you have to make a niyyah before you sleep? So you have to have a niyyah, but it doesn't have to be before you sleep. فمثلا, yeah, like I did this a few days ago, you wake up and you're like, you know what, I didn't drink anything, Fulan is fasting in the house, خلاص, I'll fast too. Then you can do that. عادي, ما في مشكلة. You can do your intention as long as you didn't do anything that would have broken your fast. You didn't drink any water, you weren't intimate, you weren't anything like that. Then you can, even if it's in the middle of the day. But what if it's like right before Maghrib? You didn't eat or drink, or technically it's fine. If someone makes it that far, I don't know. But yeah, technically it's fine. Nah. But you have to make it an intention in both cases. But in the fard one, it's done before, the day before. But let's quickly talk about the invalidators of fasting. This is one of the most important parts. So when it comes to the things that break the fast, right? Mufsidat as-siyam. We have things that break your fast. We have things that are disliked, and we have things that are they're fine. Okay. The ulama, they talk about anything that enters the jawf. The jawf means something that's hollow. Okay. طبعا when they say jawf, they mean the mi'da, like the intestines, the stomach. Something they say mujawwaf, something like hollow, like the mouth, like the brain, etc. And so these are the things that if something enters them, then they break the fast. From the outside, okay? From the outside, something from the outside enters them, okay? And it goes into one of those, like your kind of your dimagh, your batan, your ma'ida, يعني, your stomach intestine, okay? Then, and from the outside, right? Then you've broken your fast. This is kind of the general rule, okay? So let's say you have some mucus in the back of your throat and you swallow it. Break your fast or no? It's not coming from outside. But if, and this is, I know you might laugh at this, but if you spit it out and then you drank it, I don't know, then you broke your fast. Because now it's not part of, who would do that? Don't ask me who would do that, but just, we're talking hypothetically. Tamam? It might happen with some other things, okay? But yeah, so as long as it's because as long as it's part of your body, that's fine, okay? Things like, that are very minuscule, like bakhur, it'll be disliked, but it doesn't break your fast. Even tasting food, as long as you don't taste it in your throat, it doesn't break your fast. Okay? Kuhul, you put kuhul. If you put too much kuhul, مثلا, and you can taste it, it breaks your fast. Anything that you can taste it after, like in your back of your throat, you feel like it's gone down, then it would break your fast. But someone tastes مثلا food, the woman is cooking, she tastes food, and then she washes her mouth, spits it out, ما في مشكلة. Does that make sense? Bakhur, smoke, anything like that, that's very little, it doesn't really break your fast. Puffer, break your fast or no? No, because it's almost like it just helps you breathe, okay? It's not something that is strengthening you, it's not taghdiya for the body, that wouldn't break your fast. This is just kind of the general rule, but let's read. Bismillah. وَمَنْ أَدْخَلَ إِلَى جَوْفِهِ, we said jawf, right? Jawf is ma'da usually. أو مجوف, anything that is مجوف, hollow. في جسده كدماغ وحلق, right? الحلق والدماغ, دماغ شيئا من أي موضع كان غير إحليله. إحليله is the part of the male organ, right? The sexual organ. But if something enters from there, then he says it doesn't break your fast. Why? Because it goes back to where? Does it go back to your stomach? It goes back to the bowel. And that is not that doesn't count as the jawf, okay? So he says except for إحليله أو ابتلع نخامة بعد وصولها إلى فمه. Yeah. So he's saying here, like if someone was to like get mucus or something like that, and it comes out, and then he swallows it again, okay, then that would break his fast. أو استقاء عفوا. استقاء. القيء is like vomit, right? استقاء يعني طلب, يعني he did it intentionally. يعني طلب القيء, يعني to do it intentionally. Someone, people who are anorexic and stuff, they try to force themselves to vomit. Okay, if you force yourself to vomit, then that would break your fast. Okay? أو استمنى, يعني طلب خروج المني. استمنى, يعني someone who like masturbates, he does it intentionally, right? And that's what it is, basically the meaning. Then he would break his fast. This gives you the indication what? That if it comes out unintentionally, like a wet dream or it doesn't break your fast. أو باشر دون الفرج فأمنى. باشر يعني يعني he did anything that's not يعني intimate, يعني not intercourse, دون الفرج, يعني it's not private part to private part. فأمنى أو أمذى. طبعا we talked about this in طهارة, المني والمذي, right? المني is the thick, is basically the sperm, right? The thicker fluid, the white thicker fluid. والمذي is what comes before, when someone is sexually aroused. That's المذي, okay? أو كرر النظر فأمنى. يعني he kept looking at something, okay? فأمنى, then sperm comes out. فأمنى. I'm going to explain it now in English, inshallah. أو نوى الإفطار, or he intended إفطار. Just نوى الإفطار. Now I'm going to break my fast right now, okay? Okay? أو حجم. What's الحجامة? حجامة, cupping, right? أو حجم. Okay? أو حجم أو احتجم. حجم أو احتجم, because we have the hadith. الحاجم والمحتجم. He did حجامة, or حجامة was done on him. عامدا. This is very important. عامدا يعني what? He did it intentionally, on purpose. عامدا. Okay? مختارا ذاكرا لصومه. Okay? ذاكرا لصومه. Then that person أفطر. Okay? ذاكرا لصومه. That person أفطر. I think we're going to have to stop here at 7:30. We'll continue the مفسدات I think we're almost done. Yeah. So we have about 6 of them, inshallah, or 7 of them. We'll cover them, inshallah, next week. And we'll cover, bi'idhnillah, next week also the makruhat and the recommended actions. Also, one of the biggest masail, the mufsidat of siyam, is if someone is intimate with his partner. Okay? The kafara is much more intense. Okay? To free a slave or fast 60 days. We have the hadith, we'll talk about it inshallah. Okay? And does forgetting count for that person? Does ignorance count for that person? We'll talk about it inshallah next week. Barakallahu feekum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.